What's up, everybody? Happy New Year.
Hey. Again.
Again. This is a special edition of Bonded In Bourbon.
Yeah.
We are, as you may have noticed, live video, not just audio.
Right.
We're trying something new.
Right.
Trying a new, an additional format, not a new format. We're not replacing the audio podcast.
Right, the audio will still exist. Yeah.
Still get that, right? But we want to try to interact a little more with our viewers.
Well, I think it's important for us to do that. You know, we are all stuck in our houses in the middle of a pandemic, you know? So we definitely want to still reach out to our listeners and our members of Black Bourbon Society.
Yep.
And do this live.
Yeah.
So people can see
live and direct.
Like live and direct, we are still alive.
Yes.
And we've been so silent. Like you said, Happy New Year. Like we have done this episode in the new year.
We have done a new episode in the new year. But you know, like with everything else that happened in life, things kind of went off the rails for a minute there.
Yeah.
But we have been engaging, right? We've been doing the BYOBs on Fridays.
Yep.
We've been doing, other engagements, ways that you've been having to get involved with not just BBS members, but with the entire kind of spirits community, right?
Right.
So we did want to take a minute here and kind of talk a little bit about how we're surviving.
Yeah.
In this strange time, and then we want to hear from you guys too.
Yeah, well, not only how we're surviving, but since the pandemic began, we've had over 100 members joining BBS almost daily. So we've got members who have no idea what Bonded In Bourbon is all about.
Right.
So, welcome.
Welcome.
We are Bonded In Bourbon.
Yes.
So I'm Samara Rivers, founder and CEO of Black Bourbon Society, and you are?
And I am her lovely assistant, Armond. No.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
I have an assistant.
Okay. I'm the COO of Black Bourbon Society.
And he's my partner, the love of my life, my tasting buddy, my barrel picking buddy.
All of that.
All these things.
AKA the assistant.
Okay.
I make sure the trains run on time.
He makes sure the trains run on time because I wouldn't even catch the train if I didn't have it.
You'd be like, oh, there was a train?
Oh, I was supposed to be on the train today?
Yeah. So that's how I like to say that. I make sure the trains run on time.
Okay.
I also make sure that my palate is represented.
Yeah.
And when we do our notes are really, we really do our notes independent. For those that aren't familiar with Bonded In Bourbon, we taste every episode.
Tasting show.
Do a whiskey tasting. We each do our notes. We compare notes. We rate. We score. And we do all of that independently and then come together and talk about it. And so that's what you guys will see. It's very conversational. You guys hear that on the podcast, but it really is just Samara and I having a conversation about whiskey, which is what many of you all do in your homes.
Right.
And that's kind of what we wanted to replicate for you guys in terms of what we were doing. We have very different palates. We pick up very different notes, and we banter about it a little bit.
Yeah.
So we definitely want you guys to tune in now, not just listen and download on wherever podcasts are available, but we do also now want you guys to tune in and see, watch us live on IGTV, YouTube, Facebook, in our private group. Just keep up with us. And I think that's the important thing during these times. One of the missions that we've adopted in Black Bourbon Society
since the pandemic started was keeping spirits high with spirits. And so adding programming like this is our attempt at trying to keep spirits high with spirits.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, okay. So, let's have a little Q&A.
What's the Q&A?
Well, I want to know.
What would you like to know?
And how have you been adjusting and surviving since we've been locked in the house? We're going on week 4.
This is week, This is week 4. We started, we got started a little before most people.
We did.
Um,
Quiet as it's kept, you and I I've always socially distanced ourselves.
I don't know about that.
Sort of, kind of, yes.
Yeah, no, I mean, when people have stuff around Atlanta, we show up for people.
We pop up.
We show up for stuff.
But
we don't host a ton of stuff, but I think that's intentional. You don't want to oversaturate, things where every week you got something going on and you're hosting and people are like, it's them again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we do pick and choose our spots.
Well, and we also work from home. So
Yeah.
we're familiar with just being in the house, working all day long. This is typically where you can find us, right here on our couch.
Yeah.
With our laptops in our hands or in our laps, working.
Yep.
So that part didn't change.
Right.
But what has been the biggest adjustment?
The biggest change, right, was the kids being out of school, the kids being home, literally 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And so that was the biggest change, and having to still get work done, making sure that they're still getting their work done, their lessons from school. Shout out to all the teachers out there.
Oh my God. They are essential.
Yeah, I mean, I come from a family of educators.
Yeah.
And so I always have had a great appreciation for educators. And that certainly has only grown, during this time. And so that for me has been the biggest adjustment. Like you said, we already work from home. And so it hasn't been that, we can't go.
Yeah.
I don't go out, or we can't go or do anything like that. It's been adjusting to the 4 of us here and really trying to still make sure that they get everything that they need while we're still getting done everything that we need to get done.
Right.
Yeah. What about for you?
The same, the kids. And at one point, and it's been a struggle for me since I've moved in. For those that don't know, I was living in LA for about 1.5 years before I ran away from home. Spent a summer, I had a hot girl summer here with my boyfriend and decided that I wasn't done having a hot girl summer, and I never went back.
Right.
So, since I've stayed or moved here in with you in Atlanta, I've always still juggled my role as entrepreneur, running Black Bourbon Society. We launched a new nonprofit organization, but then also maintaining the roles and the responsibilities it takes to be girlfriend and your significant other, and also being a mom, and also keeping the house clean. Like, it's just a lot of responsibilities that that all kind of fell on me. And so I had just gotten into somewhat of a routine. Like, finally being able to work out a little bit. The kids were great in school, got them with their extracurricular activities, and was getting a good working routine with, with BBS and all the other things we've got going on. And so I had just gotten that, figured out.
Right.
And then everything shut down, that Friday.
Right.
So for me, it was then having to let go of all of that work that I did, trying to, organize my life and organize routine and schedules, and completely, shift and redo that. And so, you remember, week 1, I had my infamous meltdown.
Infamous.
Right? It was I had a meltdown. The kids didn't have a meltdown. I did, just because everything was just unorganized in my head. And then also just, figuring out their routine and where's time for me and how do I keep this house clean, and I've got to cook 3 meals a day for 4 people now, and I still have a business to run. It just kind of all hit the fan week 1 for me. Week 2 was that's when I hired the tutor.
Was that week 2?
I hired
I
the
thought it
tutor
was
during.
week 3.
I got organized. Remember, I got like all of the school supplies sent in, and by the end of week 2, I did hire the tutor because I was like, okay, like we've got to get all the school supplies because they're all stuck in the schoolyard in the schoolhouse, and we don't have any school supplies here. So it was making sure the kids had everything that they needed. And then the last straw was hiring a tutor for our son to help him with his work because it was creating too much stress for me. And then by week 3, everything was like in place. Like I felt like we had got back into a routine. And so week 4, the kids are away, they're on spring break. They're at their father's. And so now I'm just kind of having to like, oh, now it's time to focus on me. Now it's time for me to get all my projects done.
Right.
And so then, like, I think by week 4, it was hard in the beginning just because it's such a stressful time. We're almost at the apex of this pandemic. And so there's a lot of not so mood lifting news, not so happy news, and then being given right now. But despite it all, I actually feel pretty good.
Well, so the question is, do you find yourself? Are you drinking more during this time? Are you drinking less during this time? How is your relationship with spirits?
As I take a sip.
Yes, as you take a sip.
Well, honestly, I think during week 1 and week 2, I did drink a little bit more, but we were also testing a bunch of different programming. We have our happy hours on Friday. We had our March Madness events that we were doing. So there was a lot more activities that we were doing virtually with the members that required me to drink. And I have since cut back on that because I didn't like the way that I felt the next day. I didn't feel productive. It didn't help me be organized and be focused on the kids. So I stopped that. I do now make cocktails though.
Yeah.
And I make a cocktail about every night. And I would play around with different recipes, and I actually enjoy that. I think it's fun. But after we've had our 1 cocktail, I think we're good. It's become more of a hobby instead of a coping mechanism. And we have seen that in BBS. We see a lot more bottle kills. We see folks like clearing out their whiskey cabinets or either trying to do runs before they before they close their liquor stores. And it is a little alarming to see that. And I hope that it's done with just the fun of enjoying the spirit and not to make the time go by faster, because it's not. And, or to mask some emotions and that people may be feeling during this time. So I think we both try to stay cognizant of that.
Yeah, I mean, you have situations like in Pennsylvania, right, where they declared that the liquor stores were non-essential.
Right.
And declared that they had to close, which created a run, right? And lines around the block and all of that kind of, all those kind of issues. I think that liquor stores should be considered essential businesses.
Right.
What do you think?
Yes and no. I mean, we are putting our liquor store owners and even more people at risk by coming in and out of their stores. But it is definitely something that we have enjoyed, making a quick run to go get a new mixer, a new liqueur to go. I do feel for those guys because even, people are still bottle hunting and looking for allocated whiskeys. And I can't imagine just trying to run, a business during a pandemic and making sure that you're 6 feet away and a consumer comes in the door begging for where your Blanton's is. You know, it's like, some of it is a bit ridiculous. Like, just because you have the time off doesn't mean that you need to go bottle hunt. You know, get what you need, but stay in the house. You know, that's essentially what we have this time for, is to be here on our couch at home with each other, not whiskey hunting.
Right.
So, what about you? What about your drinking taste?
Well, I mean, I drink when you make the cocktails, but so that would mean that technically I am drinking more because you make cocktails more often, and so whenever you make the cocktails, then it's true. I say I have one. I have just not been a person that would, even when times were normal as they were, I still would, you know, when we would go out or when we would have events, I might have 2.
Right.
At the most 3 drinks.
Right.
But I never had 4, 5, 6, 7 drinks.
Yeah, we've never been daily sippers.
Yeah.
We don't drink every day.
No, not really. So
Yeah.
I think that we're managing fine, but we certainly do want to send a word to our, you know, to our members, to viewers, about just pay attention.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
Pay attention.
Pay attention.
It's tough times.
Yeah.
And we understand, like, you know, it's like we're all just hanging out, bored, you know? Like, but it doesn't mean that we need to finish everything off in our cabinets. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
You got any other questions?
I'm trying to think. If I was new to BBS or to Bonded in Bourbon, what would I want to know about us?
I don't know, but that's a good question for people to be able to ask in the comments.
Yeah.
And we can answer some of those questions on our next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're not doing a tasting in this episode.
No, we just really wanted to do almost like a quick, you know, hello,
hey,
reintroduction,
right,
and then just kind of talk a little bit about how our lives have changed, as we know that everybody's lives have changed
right,
over the past few weeks. But we will, starting with the next episode, we will resume our format of doing a tasting.
right.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and close it out then. Before we go, we did want to do an exercise. We got these great glasses from one of our members, Eric Hazel. He etched these glasses with the BBS logo, and then also gave us this fantastic decanter that has the BBS logo and also says established 2014.
Nice.
Yeah, because believe it or not, next month we'll be 4 years old. So, you see it on here?
Yeah. That says 2016.
2016. That's right.
Right, 2016 is right. I was like, you said 2014.
I said 14.
14.
Well, I meant
This
4
happens.
years. This happens all the time.
This happens, yes.
So, anyways, what I thought is, you know, this is a new decanter. Let's turn it into an infinity bottle. And I wanted to start off our infinity bottle. I think the only thing that should go in the BBS decanter is, of course,
it's BBS makers.
Our Black Bourbon Society makers marked private select that we did.
Our award winning.
Right. It received a 2019 Double Gold Award at the San Francisco World Spirits Competition. And this is actually what's left over from our very first bottle, the bottle that did win the award.
Yes.
And we've since, you know, we have to explain it, we have since gone on to replicate several bottles of this in Chicago, Houston, New Orleans, Atlanta, and in New York.
Yes.
And so we're going to take a little bit of our bottles. We don't have bottles from every single city that we've replicated this recipe in, but we're going to all pour it in.
Do we have a dram to make sure we're putting the same amount of each in there?
No, we're just going to pour.
We're going to eyeball it.
You're going to eyeball it. We can finish the rest of this.
I wouldn't put the whole thing in there. See? That's good.
Oh, that's not
Doing
enough.
a double. That's plenty.
This is swell. Are you going to finish that?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll finish this. That's not enough.
That's plenty. And then put the same amount. You gotta put the same amount of each in there.
Then it's okay. We're not gonna have that much.
No, you don't have to have that much to start. We got how many more barrels gonna be coming in 2020, guys?
We've got a ton.
Right. Even though we are not denied. We are only delayed.
Delayed.
That's right. So, second half of the year, guys.
More of these will come out.
Be ready.
Yeah.
Be ready. We got more bottles coming, more barrels coming, more trips coming.
More events coming.
Second half of the year belongs to BBS and BIB.
Bourbon Boulet.
Bourbon Boulet's coming. Yep.
Everything is still planned.
Everything is still coming. Like I said, we are delayed. We are not denied.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, so this is the last time we did a release, which was earlier this year. Believe it or not, it feels like it was 5 years ago. Do that. How about that?
Okay.
Since there's more of that one. So that was from Atlanta. What was that? February of this year,
Yes.
2020.
Yes.
107.3.
Mm-hmm.
Is this New York or is this Houston?
I'm not certain.
We can't remember, but it's in there. Tell me when to stop.
Yep.
Okay.
You be with those heavy-handed pours. I love it when you're the bartender.
Yeah. Good bartender.
Yep.
108.2.
Yeah.
This was Chicago. This is one of my favorites. Ooh.
Okay.
It was the best kind.
Wait. No.
Okay,
Are we trying to
fine.
get balance? Are we trying to a Chicago tinged? Yeah, balance. This happens on the podcast and as well.
Anyways, so we have started our infinity bottle of all of the barrel releases for Black Bourbon Society with Maker's Mark Harvest Select.
Yep.
And can we just toast?
And toast.
A toast.
A toast to you guys.
To you.
To the viewers.
To the listeners.
To the listeners.
To Bonded in Bourbon.
Cheers.
To us being bonded in bourbon.
To us being bonded in bourbon. Cheers.
Cheers, babe.